Hello everyone, welcome back to the Real Queen Nefertiti 33 channel. I am Tatiana. I am here with some more articles, okay? Today, class, we'll be learning about the attack on Pearl Harbor. Okay, watch the last video I did about the Golden Gate Bridge. The attack happened on the Golden Gate Bridge, okay? This is why a lot of suicides and crashes happens on the Golden Gate Bridge because of the attack of Pearl Harbor. Because the soldiers that was in war during Pearl Harbor was murdered, okay? And they fell to the bottom of the sea, bottom of the ocean, okay? Bottom of the water, okay? I'm doing these videos because they souls already up there from that day, but we gotta get their bodies now and cremate them, okay? So that's why I'm doing these, so they can break, so they can come on up, okay? From this, okay? Also, the Golden Gate Bridge was actually steel, thank you. But when they got murdered from the war, it became reddish orange, okay? So that's why a lot of suicides happens as well, okay, because of their bodies, okay. But yes, it was still, it became red/orange, okay, reddish orange, okay. So the sun, okay, something like that. So let's begin. Yes, my ex-husband, he was the leader of the soldiers, okay. He the only survivor, okay. Thank you. The attack on Pearl Harbor. On the morning of December the 7th, 1941, servicemen stationed at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, attended to their daily duties. Crew. Sailor Cecil Kemp was beginning his Sunday as usual, remembering I had relieved the watch in the port engine room of the USS Utah, which you did, but they came in and tampered with it, invisibly. I had been on watch about 20 minutes when the first torpedo hit the ship on the port side. At 7:55 a.m., hundreds of Japanese planes released bombs and torpedoes onto the Army and Navy facilities at Pearl Harbor. Unsure, it's not no, it wasn't the real Japanese, okay? It was on their side, okay? Unsure what was going on Robert Kinzel, a soldier stationed in nearby Scottsville Barracks, headed to his battle station. Along the way, he witnessed huge columns of thick black smoke and deep orange flames rising up from Pearl Harbor. While historians often highlight the Navy's role in the attack, Army forces at Pearl Harbor was also involved. Their sacrifices and bravery marked the beginning of the eventual defeats of the Japanese during World War II, which is, well, we in World War III now, but 2012, okay? A surprise strike of this magnitude was previously unthinkable. The attack on Pearl Harbor not only inducted the United States into World War II, but also altered the cultural attitude on war in the United States for decades to come. Okay, background on attack. World War II began in Europe and Asia in the late 1930s, but American leaders, including President Franklin D. Roosevelt, chose to stay out of the conflict. Not true. In the years leading up to 1941, Americans were deeply divided over their involvement in the war. Isolationists hoped the United States will remain neutral. That's them, okay? Talking about us, that's them to us. While interventionists wanted to enter the war, I just told y'all, because they wanted the bridge, okay? They were trying to get the state, okay? The United States remained neutral for most of 1941. However, polls indicated that Americans were increasingly concerned about the success of the Allied powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan in 1940 and 1941. While the United States did not formally take a side in the war in the 1930s, tensions between the United States and Japan grew. They began simmering with the start of the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, when Japanese forces launched an invasion of China. The United States condemned the act of war by passing trade sanctions and embargo against Japan. These actions marked a significant transition from the open trade relationship Japan and United States previously enjoyed. So basically, they wanted United States and Japan / China, Korean to beef. Okay, why you always hear that Japan, Chinese is smarter than United States? Okay, because of this. Okay, the beef they started. The oil embargo was particularly damaging to the Japanese, who required imported oil and other supplies to continue expanding their empire. Same when it comes to the oil, okay? They wanted the United States to be with the Muslims, okay? But we were all working together to get the oil. Same with this. This pushed the Japanese to consider all options to obtain the resources they needed. Japanese military officers discussed targeting Pearl Harbor as early as January 1941. Admiral Orochi Yamamoto, the commander-in-chief of the Japanese Combined Fleet, led the planning. American codebreakers deciphered Japanese communications about an attack on Pearl Harbor, but Army and Navy leaders deemed the threats unlikely. Positioned on Oahu, Hawaii, Pearl Harbor served as the main base for the American naval fleet in the Pacific Ocean. It also hosted several Army airfields and Schofield Barracks, headquarters of the 25th Infantry Division, where 3,500 soldiers were stationed. Okay, so that's how many that's in the water. In fact, more soldiers than sailors were present on Oahu the day of the attack. Exactly, okay? Despite intelligence indicating a Japanese military interest in Pearl Harbor, the post location over 4,000 miles away from Japan inspired a false sense of security. Much closer to Japan was the Philippine Commonwealth, which American military leaders such as Army Chief of Staff General George C. Marshall predicted would be a more likely target. However, a war warning was still issued to Army and naval leadership on the island. No, it wasn't. Lieutenant General, but basically they saying, well, you know we here, so you know we gonna start some shit, so you might as well be ready at all times, okay? Basically what they trying to say, but they did not, okay? If you want to think of protocols, the right protocols, they did not, okay? Lieutenant General Walter Short, commanding general of Hawaiian military installations, were more concerned with the threat of espionage, okay? At his order, Hawaii threat level was downgraded to an alert against sabotage. Yes, it was sabotaged, okay? It wasn't fair, basically. Yamamoto finalized plans to attack Pearl Harbor in July 1941. Japanese leadership hoped this preemptive action would end the threat of the U.S. military in the Pacific, allowing the Japanese to expand their empire without interference. On the morning of December the 7th, U.S. intelligence intercepted a message from Japanese forces indicating action would be taken. They delivered the message to Washington for 4 hours prior to the attack. However, delays in transmission caused delayed delivery to Pearl Harbor, not until almost 3 p.m., hours after the attack. See? So they did tamper with it, okay? So it did come after the attack, okay? But it didn't come at first, okay? But they still tamper with it out, because I feel like they tamper with it because they can't do that. You can't come in there and you can't tamper with it. You can put a time on it, okay, whatever, and you can say, oh, after the war, make them see it or something like that, okay? Come on now. The attack on Pearl Harbor lasted approximately an hour and a half and consisted of 2 waves of enemy attackers. Exactly. Just like if they played the tape to me, okay, I'm gonna be gone for an hour and a half. Okay, so it basically like some damn hoodoo shit, okay, some spiritual shit, okay. Consisted of 2 waves of enemy attackers. 408 Japanese aircraft launched from 6 aircraft carriers operating 200 miles north of Oahu in the first wave. An Army SCR capitalized -270 radar installation on the northern tip of Oahu first detected the threat. Privates George Elliott Jr. and Joseph Locker reported the sightings, but the lieutenant on duty assumed the oncoming planes was a scheduled delivery. While approaching Oahu, Japanese forces shot down American planes as they attempted to send warning signals. This resulted in unclear messages to headquarters. Reaching the harbor, Japanese torpedo bombers targeted the valuable American battleships. Shortly after the attack began, a Japanese high-altitude bomber hit the USS Arizona, causing a forward ammunition magazine to explode. Arizona sank rapidly with over 1,000 men trapped inside, contributing to nearly half the total casualties from the attack. Bombs, torpedoes, and machine gun fire struck other battleships surrounding Arizona. Okay, so that's basically us with them. Okay, this is USS Arizona sinking after impact. Japanese diver bombers and fighters reached Hacking Field and Real Field, the main base of the U.S. Army Air Force, around 8 a.m. Many servicemen awoke to exploding bombs and the announcements. Air raid Pearl Harbor. This is not sick drill at the time of the attack. See, it wasn't. The Army's nearby anti-aircraft guns were non-functional and batteries and ammunition was not in use, okay? Because they took them all out. Okay, yes, y'all. Really. Come on now. Oh, my God. Two Army Air Force pilots, second Lieutenant Kenneth Taylor and Lieutenant George Welch, awoke to the sounds of the Japanese attack. They even drugged some people, okay? The people that's supposed to be, working that day. Without orders, they rushed to the airfield to board their Curtiss P-40 Tomahawks. That means take it from them, okay? Taylor and Welch launched the offensive strikes twice. Yes, when war pops off, you don't need no permission, okay? Taylor and Welch launched the offensive strike twice, landing only to reload. Welch managed to shoot down 4 Japanese planes. Taylor shot down 2 in the process, taking 5 that struck his arm and leg. The main captain, as 2 of only 5 U.S. pilots that managed air defenses on December the 7th. Taylor and Welch earned Distinguished Service Crosses, and Taylor earned a Purple Heart. When you get a Purple Heart, that means you was wounded in war. 171 additional Japanese planes launched in the second wave, starting at 8:55 a.m. Okay. Battleships and destroyers sustained more damage, and several bombers targeted the military airfields. The Japanese Imperial Navy also stationed submarines surrounding Oahu, meant to target ships escaping the barrage. The Japanese attack by sea was far less successful than their aerial assault, however. The sole captive enemy servicemen piloted a submarine that washed ashore. By the end of the attack, 347 American aircraft were destroyed or damaged. All 8 battleships anchored in Pearl Harbor were either sunk or damaged, though 6 was eventually salvaged. Ship repair yards and ammunition storage facility was normally unharmed, allowing for a swift rebuilding process to begin soon after. In all, 2,335 Americans died in the attack. Almost 70 of the individuals were civilians, notable members of the Honolulu Fire Department who responded to Hickling Field, and the passengers of the 3 civilian planes. Yes, this is the ship, and it's still down there. A lot of submarines and stuff is down there, y'all. Okay. Aftermath of attack. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, we couldn't. The fuck you mean? Japan formally declared war on the United States. On December the 8th, President Roosevelt addressed a joint session of the U.S. Congress, urging them to declare war on Japan. Within the hour, the bill passed. Okay, you ain't finna diss mine, know that. The United States declared war on Japan, soon followed by a declaration of war by Germany and Italy. Despite the success of the surprise attack, the Japanese objectives were unmet. Instead of scaring Americans away from war with Japan, the attack angered them. More importantly, it weakened American attachment to isolationists and previously halted their participation. After Roosevelt's plea for justice, 388 of 389 members of Congress voted to declare war, the one nay vote coming from a staunch pacifists. Okay, this was way before. Over the next 4 years of warfare, the American military played a key role in the defeat of Axis power in World War II. But it was after, because they wanted to go in there and live under them or something like that. like they would seafood or some shit. And we said no. Japanese Admiral Howard Tadisha later summarized the result of the attack on Pearl Harbor as we won a great tactical victory at Pearl Harbor and thereby lost the war. Okay, remember December the 7th, we were highly resolved that the dead shall not have died in vain. Okay, true. Okay. The attack on Pearl Harbor had deep implications of the Japanese American community, a nation traumatized by the surprise attack scapegoated many minority communities. In February 1942, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066 approving the forced incarceration of Japanese Americans, that's them, in internment camps. Well, they did get some though. Soldiers of Japanese descent faced intense quantity despite their commitment to defend their country. Several second-generation Japanese Americans, also known as Nisi, were serving in the Army and Hawaiian National Guard in December 1941. Sergeant Gary Yoshida, get that out of my face. Otto and Second Lieutenant Tashi Masayu were each present in Pearl Harbor on the day of the attack. All three men later served in World War II in the 100th Infantry Battalion. The majority of this battalion shows the motto remembering Pearl Harbor and is one of the most highly decorated units in Army history. In his famous speech, Roosevelt vowed the attack would be a date which would live in infamy, which it is. His prediction was correct in more ways than one. Not only has the solemnity of the day lived on, though, but so too have the acts of heroism, meaning being a hero, okay, not heroine, being a hero, committed in response. In 1994, Congress named December the 7th National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Each year, memorials across the country honor the servicemen who lost their lives and served with honor that day. Delana Brewer, co-lead educational specialist. Okay, and that is the story of Pearl Harbor attack, 1947. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, give it a like. Okay, thank you. Peace and be safe.